yes, you can move your money tax-free from your professional or your operating corporation into a holding corporation. So it provides you an extra layer of protection on your assets just in case someone was to take a legal action against you. They are only limited to whatever is in that holding corporation.
Yes.
So it provides you a huge amount of protection on your
Protection.
assets. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Yes.
Because if, let's say, it was all under one operating corporation, all your operating operations, all your holdings, everything would have been liable for that one legal action.
That's right.
So
That's
all
right.
of your assets are gone in just a split of second.
Finance. There's so much to learn about how to make money from the money you make and how to save money. And there's a lot of products out there, lots of tech strategies out there that we're not taught in our school system. And yet we live day to day working hard, not making sure that we learn these things because we're not taught in school. And once we learn, you realize that you can save a lot of money by applying tech strategies and using the financial products that are available to us. Today, I have a pleasure of doing a podcast with somebody I've been following on TikTok and Instagram. His name is Karan Purba. He has 8 years of finance and accounting experience, and he consults his clients and teaches them these things so they succeed in financial planning as well as wealth creation. So I want to welcome you, Karan, to our podcast. Thanks for coming.
It's been a pleasure, Ravi, being here. And thank you so much for following me on TikTok. Yes, there's a lot that we feel like people need to have, a lot in terms of the knowledge on how to build their wealth.
Yeah.
Because many times people are aware about only one or two strategies or one or two ways, but then there is a lot more. And the real wealth is built if you understand taxation.
Correct.
The moment you know taxation, that is a bridge from your, let's say, living paycheck to paycheck and living a wealthy life. So you need to know that how to protect your hard-earned money and make your money from your hard-earned money so that you're not working your whole life.
Correct. One of the things that attracted me when I was watching your videos and following you on TikTok is the amount of information you share. It's mind-boggling because these things are not taught in our school system, but yet it's available to us, right? And how does a normal person learn all this? And what I found is your TikTok and Instagram to be very informative. And I knew right away I had to interview you because you believe in same thing I believe in, which is educating and guiding clients, right? So let me ask you, how did you start with in this field? What made you interested, and how did you learn all this?
Yeah, definitely. It's actually a funny story that I got into this industry.
Yeah.
So I still remember when I passed out of my grade 10 back in India. So my parents were like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Okay, I do not like physics, bio, so I do not like science, but I did like maths." So I was like, I'm sure I do not like science. So then there's a business side of things, commerce, right? So I was like, okay, fine. It sounds something different. And then I took commerce with mathematics as an additional course. And I think the tutor that I had at that time, the professor that I had at that time, he was so good. And the way he cleared my accounting basics, I just fell in love. That was the moment when I realized that, okay, fine, this is something that people need to know, that not only how to earn money, but how it's allocated, how the government wants to see it on your books, and how are these strategies, loopholes can be implemented so that you attain or you retain the amount of whatever money you are making. So I fell in love from there, and then I came to Canada. That was another whole different show here. Yeah. So I graduated from University of Fraser Valley. I did my bachelor's in accounting. Wonderful. And when I was studying, there was a lot of theoretical knowledge available out there.
Mm-hmm.
But how that theoretical knowledge is to be implemented in practical side of the world, it was so rare for me to find someone who could teach me the practical side.
Mm-hmm.
So then I got a job. I got a job in a smaller firm where I started as a bookkeeper. I got promoted in just 3 months. And then gradually I was able to attain a position where I was managing the top 4 clients, the top 4 biggest clients of that firm. So that's where I got to know more on the industry side, that how a business owner thinks,
Mm-hmm.
when I got to connect with them, that how these guys are able to build these big empires, big companies, big organizations.
Yep.
That is where, with time, I started falling in love with the implementations of the taxation, understanding how these accounting things work, how financial sector works in terms of the wealth creation, right? So this has been like kind of a journey. I started as if exploring something just different,
Mm-hmm.
but then once you got into it, I just fell in love with it. And since then, since 2018, I have been into this, and accounting and finance has been my passion and my profession.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, give me an example, like somebody who owns a few real estate, somebody who doesn't understand financial products and how to take advantage of these financial products, strategies, financial strategies, tax strategies. Like when they come to you, can you give me an example of what you do with them?
Yeah, for sure. Ravi, that's a great question, actually. And so I'll tell you that financial planning comes in 3 different sections when we talk about real estate. And why I'm talking about real estate is because many of the time you see that people want to just get into real estate. And the reason for that is because they have seen some other people making money in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely want to buy real estate. But when it comes down to financial planning, there are 3 stages of it. Before someone, let's say, want to get into real estate, how to plan for, let's say, that down payment. There are many people do not even know that they can buy a house at 0% down as well through these RRSP loans, home buyers programs and stuff.
That's
We
right.
can definitely talk a little bit more about it. But these are some strategies, or you need to know what incentives government provides you, that even you're a first-time home buyer or you're not a first-time home buyer.
Mm-hmm.
So government has some incentives that they give you to make sure you are building your wealth.
Yes.
So they do help you, right? But if you're not willing to understand those tax loopholes, government is not looking you to make money, but they're looking for a partnership where they take 50% of your wealth
Yeah.
if you do not understand what incentives they provide.
Correct.
So it's like if you use those strategies and incentives, then you are building wealth. But if you do not use them, it's technically saying that government is penalizing you in the form of taxes,
Yeah.
right? So you need to make sure you understand. So before you do any investment, you need to know how I need to plan for that initial investment.
Mm-hmm.
Once, let's say, some people get into real estate, once they buy a property, how to pay that off or how to utilize it in the most efficient way where they can generate more wealth from their one asset as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third point comes in that once they have built a net worth or once they have purchased those properties, what is their exit plan?
Yes.
So it's like a proper business. Investor
100%.
is like a proper business.
100%.
So you need to know your entry, you need to know how you're gonna live that
Yeah.
time frame, and then you need to know your exit plan of it as well.
So it's funny you mentioned this because in my own portfolio of investments, I've made mistakes along the way, and I've learned it the hard way. And what I do is I teach people now, and I guide people now how to do this properly. And something I learned later on in my life is how to use, for example, life insurance products,
Yeah.
right? To move money around from corporation into holding companies and apply all these strategies with life insurance. So my goal is to teach people how to pay off their mortgage, principal residence, have a whole bunch of investments on side, and apply tax strategies and generate at least about 7 to 10,000 a month income coming in without even working so hard. So money making money. Now I can see how you fit into this right away, because you are a person who has that understanding of all the financial products, right? And I know there's so much I can learn from you. So I'm probably going to book in a session with you.
Anytime.
And all I'm saying is, if I'm teaching my clients, look, here's what we're going to do, a set of things to attain 7 to 10 grand a month at the point where you want to retire. And let's say they're in their 40s. What would you suggest they do? Like before they start with me, I wanna make sure I use your knowledge and your education and experience, right? How could you help?
Yeah, Ravi. And first of all, it's amazing that, there are very few professionals out there who are educating instead of selling. So you're doing an amazing work out there. I love it. And that's the reason we are sitting here together, because we have the same goals and same values. So that's amazing you're doing out there. Now, when let's say someone 40-year-old comes to me and they let's say they want to plan for their retirement per se, okay? And they have throughout their life, let's say their family, they have seen their uncle and aunts, building properties, real estate properties, right? Getting into those. They have seen many people making money out of those. And most of the time, a mistake, and anyone does is just because of their fear of missing out, they also want to get into the properties. But that does not mean if your uncle and aunt made money out of that, you will also make money.
Correct.
Yes, you can, but you need to have someone like Ravi yourself, a solid realtor on board. If they're into real estate, they need to have a solid team of where, I can play a massive role as well, that how to plan to get into whatever investments you're looking for. Because Ravi, many times people want to get into investments. That could be stocks, bonds, that could be GICs, that could be real estate, that could be crypto as well these days. Many times they want to get into those, but they do not know what is their goal behind it. So we need to know, as you mentioned, that $10,000 as a passive income in a positive cash flow is what their goal is.
Yeah.
But if they are buying any properties, those cannot lead to that goal. It's not a right investment. And every single person's investor profile is different.
Yes.
So whenever, let's say, someone comes and sit down with me, the first thing we need to know is what your goals are. Based on your goals, that is when you see that, okay, now this is your goals, these are your goals, and this is your investor profile. Are you willing to take too high risk? Because let's just say if I'm 30 years old, I would have a very high risk profile as compared to a 60-year-old.
Yes.
So what investments would suit me cannot suit a 60-year-old, and what would suit for a 60-year-old cannot suit me. So we need to know your goals first. We need to know your investor profile then. And based on that, never ever put your all eggs into one basket.
Correct.
Always diversify your portfolio.
Correct.
Some people want to have dividend funds. Some people want to have positive cash flow from real estate. Some people want to have only growth from real estate.
Yeah.
So there are many things here, right? So if, let's just say, someone was to plan, yes, we are out there providing knowledge on our social media, but every single person's situation is different. So I would highly recommend, if someone is wanting to get into real estate, do not buy something that just looks cheap or that looks like a good price or a good deal. They need to know at the back end and the front end, and that is where they would need to have a person like you, Ravi, on board.
Yes.
Because it's your profession.
Yeah.
Someone having a full-time IT job cannot do a full-time real estate research, right? So they need to have someone who runs this show full-time.
True. And currently I see a lot of people losing their shirts on pre-sales. And one of the things I tell people is people lie, numbers don't, right? people lie, numbers don't. And numbers show that what is a good deal, what is not. And when people buy pre-sales, what they do is they go into a project and they see the hype and they buy the hype. They want to tell their friends, oh, look, I got a pre-sale on this in this project. But what they don't realize is they didn't do their homework on what things are selling for now and what they're buying this pre-sale for, and doing proper price per square foot calculation, because the larger the gap between current market and the pre-sale price, the lesser you are earning in terms of profit. So currently there's so many pre-sales out there that are not a good deal, but a handful of pre-sales are a great deal. So in my business, I just don't sell anything. I select which projects will do well, because these people will come back to me and say, Ravi, sell this for me or help me do something with this. And I want to be able to do that for them, right? So I think that's what people need to understand. Now, change of stories. Now, we are taught in our culture, okay, that don't accumulate debt. And one of the things I learned from a mentor is there's something called good debt and something called bad debt. Like buying like a car, a depreciating asset, and owing money on that is a bad debt. Like buying real estate, that is an appreciating asset, and owing money on that is a good debt. What are your thoughts on debt, and how do you use debt with tax strategies and retirement?
Yeah, that's an amazing question, Ravi. So if I was to say it in a very simple and straightforward language,
Yeah.
in North America, or actually anywhere you want to go, if you want to generate actual wealth, if you want to accumulate wealth, the only way is through a good debt.
Mm.
So the only way to build your net worth is through borrowings.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is because borrowing is never taxed.
Yeah.
Right. So, but you definitely have a very fine line where you need to know, is it a good debt that you're getting into or is it a bad debt?
Mm-hmm.
Again, that is where professionals and expert has to come in.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you a little bit of a story here. You mentioned about, good decisions and bad decisions. So one of my clients, they had a very strong real estate profile. They were having all the eggs into one basket. They had built 4 properties and they were into development. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They were building 4 properties. $1 million each was their expectation. So $4 million is what the price was. And out of that project, they had a loss. They incurred a loss of $700,000 just from one project.
Oh, no.
So it's not that they couldn't have made money. It's just that those decisions were taken without having a backup of an expert, right? So if, let's say, someone wants to genuinely build net worth,
Mm-hmm.
yes, there is a good debt and bad debt side of things. But then how would someone define that? Is this a good or bad debt?
Yeah.
Many people just think that debt is just one debt, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can just get into it. But you need to know which debt can help you make money and which debt is going to help you consume your money, right? So many times, especially in recession, if you are able to build a good debt, that is the best way to build your net worth.
That's right.
And in these days, if someone wants to get into investments, recession produces the most amount of millionaires ever, right? We all know that.
Yes.
So if you are able to help your clients, if you are able to help the audience get into some good real estate properties, good pre-sale properties, I mean, it could generate them the best values as well.
Yes.
And that can be also a good debt down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when we talk about good debt, right, it's all about that, a debt that can just simply help you make money.
Yeah.
So that could be from wherever, that could be from real estate, properties, or any other debt as well.
Wonderful.
So Ravi, actually, I have a question for you that when you say that people can have a good deals in pre-sale,
Yeah.
what are few things that someone should be considering when they're wanting to get into pre-sales?
So there's a lot of things that a person has to consider. And with 20 years of experience and seeing projects on paper and then walking through the built product and then doing that for continuously for 20 years and seeing the price points at a certain point at a certain time of the economic cycle and then seeing prices move up and seeing certain prices not move up for certain pre-sales. I think I've learned there is a pattern. And what I do is I use this knowledge, this experience. Personally, I buy these pre-sales, but then I teach my clients and I guide my clients that, look, we're not going to buy what you want, and here's why. But here's a pre-sale that actually makes way more sense, and here's why, right? And once people see this, they realize that something that I'm suggesting will actually do really well. So it takes like I have quite a bit of experience. I personally buy and sell pre-sales for my own portfolio, and I'm completing on one just soon. And I think your brother's doing my mortgage. So there's certain things people should look for. 90% of these pre-sales won't make the money. There's only a handful of projects that will. And I don't sell every single pre-sale. I just sell selected ones that I know my clients will make money, because they're going to come back in 3 years, 4 years and say, Ravi, help me sell this, right? So I want to make sure that they do well. When recession hits, tariffs come in, like nobody knows these things are going to happen. But even then, these projects should be solid. They should not have overpaid. And it should be in a great location, because real estate is all about location, right? So I think when I sit with clients, I do a home buyer consultation, and then I understand their goal, and I set goals for them as well. And then now I want to introduce them to you, because then me and you will have a plan where I want them to have that financial knowledge from you and tax strategies, but then I want to set them up with my real estate, their real estate goals as well, right? So I think just booking that consultation would help them tremendously, because they won't get into wrong products, right? You just don't buy real estate because, like you said, your uncle is buying a pre-sale or your neighbor's buying a pre-sale. You buy pre-sale because it makes sense, and you don't get into, don't get stuck with something that's going to cost you way too much, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And well, yeah, that's definitely. And anyone that comes from this podcast, I mean, as we discussed, I would be more than happy to provide them free consultation. So, we'd want to make sure we help them make the right decisions. I would like to ask you, Ravi. So I heard about this Smith maneuver strategy.
Yep.
How can you, how would you explain what a Smith maneuver strategy is, and how can someone incorporate that in their own planning?
So we show this to clients, and what we do, like I'm applying it in my own portfolio, and all it is, and it has to be set up properly. So you can't just apply it. So it has to be set up properly and has to be compliance with CRA, the way CRA wants it. And all it is when you buy investment property, how to use the rental income to pay off your residential mortgage, and how to use your home equity line of credit to pay off your rental property and all the expenses that come with it, and how the tax write-offs work. So we teach this, and show people how to gain financially, right? How to buy more properties and how to save money on taxes, because we all pay quite a bit of taxes, and there's right ways of doing things where if you shift debt from your personal residence to HELOC, you can save a lot of money on taxes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, so if I'm buying properties, right? This I learned after a while, because I was buying properties under my personal name, paying all these taxes, and now I'm moving money from my operating corporation to a holding company, and my holding company is buying real estate. What would you say to our audience about why they should be buying real estate in a holding company, and a strategy that they can apply by consulting with you?
Definitely, and that's a very common question that I get. Should I buy property from on my personal name? Should I buy it from my operating corporation or holding corporation? See, on personal, always prefer to have a limited liability. And when I say about liability, that we're talking about the mortgages, and so you want to make sure you have as less liability on your personal name as possible. For the operating corporation, now for the operating corporation, you're already running your business from your operating corporation. For example, there is a doctor. A doctor is having their professional corporation. They're running their whole show from that corporation. If a doctor is not allowed to purchase a property into that from their professional corporation. Now, the reason for that is because your professional corporation needs to have a license, and that is only limited to providing those services.
That's right.
Many times so now what people do is they move their money, as you mentioned, from their corporation, the active income corporation, to another corporation that's their holdco, their holding corporation.
Yes.
But they have this belief that in their holding corporation, there is less taxes. We need to understand that there are two types of taxes in Canada for the corporations: active income tax and non-active income tax. So your holding corporation comes in non-active income, unless you have 5 employees in that holding corporation, full-time employees.
Okay.
So now, yes, you can move your money tax-free from your professional or your operating corporation into a holding corporation. But this process only provides you a very good protection of, let's say, your assets. So it provides you an extra layer of protection on your assets, just in case someone was to take a legal action against you. So if a tenant fell off, unfortunately they fell off, if they were to take any legal action against you, they are only limited to whatever is in that holding corporation.
Yes.
So it provides you a huge amount of protection on your assets. It's huge.
Yes.
Because if, let's say, it was all under one operating corporation, all your operating operations, all your holdings, everything would have been liable for that one legal action.
That's right.
So all of your assets are gone in just a split of second.
Yeah. And how about in terms of selling that property now, eventually, taxation-wise, what's the benefit?
Definitely. So first, whatever rental income you're earning, that comes under passive income.
Yes.
And passive income, your net passive income is taxed at 51%.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's you're giving government more than 50% of your money. Yes, out of that, 30% roughly is refundable. But this strategy only applies to someone who is in low income tax bracket on their personal side.
Yes.
Okay, so that refundable tax would only make sense in their scenario. Now, this is about the rental income. When you talk about selling a property, let's take an example. You purchased a property for $1 million. You sold it for, let's say, $1.5 million. $500,000 is your gain. Out of that $500,000, 50% is your tax-free. And 50% is taxed under the passive income tax.
Okay.
Now, that $250,000, which is 50% tax-free off of that $500,000, that comes out of your corporation tax-free as well. So many of the times people may think that, hey, if
Oh,
that was tax-free in my corporation, now when I withdraw on my personal name, will I be taxed? Not on that tax-free portion.
oh,
So it
wow.
comes out through a
Okay.
capital dividend account, so CDA account.
Yeah.
So it comes out of your corporation tax-free as well.
Wonderful.
Yes. So that is one good point that government gives you.
Yeah.
But then the leftover, so
Yes.
the other $250,000 is taxed at same passive income tax. That would be 51%.
Wow.
Right. So on $500,000 of your gain, roughly you're paying $175,000 in taxes.
So there's another layer, right, that a person can apply because under that holding company, I can have few people as shareholders, directors, right? And how would that work then? Can I, if I, let's say, made 250,000 now, I'm being taxed on it. Can I pay dividends to these people? How should I do this properly? So, and in 2 years' time.
Yes, you definitely can pay those dividends out to someone who falls under low income tax bracket. So when I say low income tax, we need to make sure that they are under 30% of tax bracket because your refundable tax is 31%.
Yes.
So if on your personal side, you're already in the over 30% tax bracket, that strategy would not make sense. So if let's say you have some shareholders in that corporation, in that holding corporation, yes, you guys can split that passive income. So your corporation would have still, so your corporation is still liable to pay that passive tax on that $500,000 of gain. But yes, that tax can be gained back or that tax can be refunded back into the corporation in that 2 years of time frame in the example that you gave. So you need to make sure you give those dividends out to those shareholders who fall in the low income tax bracket. And in the course of 2 years, yes, you can get that tax back, 30% of it.
Okay. Okay. And this is what you kind of show people when they're
Yes.
setting things up, trying to buy real estate and create a portfolio of real estate investments. You can show them how to move things around. Another question I had is there's a lot of like financial tools that we're not taught about. Life insurance is one of them, right? There's products out there where you can put money in, take money out, and at least you're covering your family in case of your death, and also you can use this money. It's not stuck in there, and you can use this money to buy more real estate, right? So can you kind of talk about that a little bit and tell the audience like how would they gain knowledge from like your consultation?
Yes, definitely. Great question, Ravi. So for any financial tools, those are available. There are a million ways someone can use it as per their situation. So if let's say we are talking about this taxation on the selling a property in the holding corporation and stuff, yes, there is that huge tax bill of 51% on your passive income. How to save it? Now, the actual strategy is your infinite banking. So infinite banking is the only strategy that can help you create your own bank. So creating your own bank, we'll talk a little bit more about it. So creating your own bank allows you to borrow your money again and again, and that way your borrowing is never taxed. And from one money, from let's say one source of income, you are generating multiple assets. Let's take an example. So if you had $100,000 to purchase a property, in $100,000, you could have just done the down payment from your holding corporation. You would have purchased that property in the holding corporation.
Yes.
And when you sell it, we already talked about the taxes.
Yes.
There is no tax savings involved in this portion. But if, let's say, you are using an infinite banking tool,
Yeah.
and infinite banking is often used with the life insurance policies. And those policies are not supposed to give you benefit only after death. They are called life insurance because you can utilize them throughout their life.
Yeah.
What business owners do is they put that $100,000 into an infinite banking product that would be a mix of your investment and insurance. Then they borrow it from that policy. Then they borrow it from that infinite banking and do the down payment of a house or any other assets they want to buy.
Yeah.
So with that $100,000, you were supposed to purchase only one property, but now you made two properties.
Yes.
So you created your own bank from which you borrowed against,
Mm-hmm.
and that money is still sitting in there and generating you interest as well. Whatever borrowing you would have got, that borrowing, yes, you pay interest on it, but that interest becomes tax deduction for your corporation as well, because you're using that money to generate
That's
more
right.
money.
That's right.
And what is the tax on passive income? That is 51%.
Yeah.
So even if your interest on the borrowing is, let's just say 6%, off of that 6%, you're reducing your passive income tax by 50%.
Mm.
So your net out-of-pocket interest is only 3%.
Yes.
But those infinite banking products are set up in a way where they provide you 6 to 7% interest despite how market performs.
Mm.
So you're making roughly over 4% money, plus you made two different assets.
See, I wish this I knew a long time ago, because if I did, I would have done really well. I'm actually starting my 21-year-old with something of like this product, where he can, by 35, he can have a chunk of savings, right? Now, I know with our audience, right, that sure, 40, 50-year-olds are doing this, but a lot of people say that, oh, you're 20, don't get life insurance. What a wrong thing to say to people, right? And I think, can you, like, so I will book an appointment with you with my 21-year-old, and I want him to understand how he can use these products to be financially independent by the time he's 35. I don't want him to worry about money. He should not have to work. And what can he do right now to basically set the right financial foundation, right?
Yeah, great question. And it's amazing to see that you're involving your 21-year-old right now, because
100%.
another thing I see about today's generation, let's say of my age, is I'm expecting to live, let's say, till 70. We're not going close to 90 or anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And considering the amount of hard work we do throughout our life, we need at least 30 years of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
So in those, if I have the life expectancy of 70, I'll go back 30 years. I want to make sure I retire at 40.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if your 21-year-old is coming now, we definitely need to, today's generation definitely want to retire at the age of, let's say, 40.
Yes.
Retirement does not mean they won't be working. It just means we are more financially confident.
Correct.
Right. So for that, for your son, things to recommend is that understand a strategy that's called buy, borrow, die.
Mm.
You learn these three words, you implement this throughout your life,
Yeah.
you can retire yourself whenever you want to.
Wonderful. Yeah.
It's literally just these three words.
Mm-hmm.
There is not a fourth word involved in it. So what a buy, borrow, die strategy means is these three words help you make massive amount of net worth. So you buy the assets and you make sure you only buy the assets that allows you a borrowing against them. That could be real estate, getting
Correct.
a HELOC in terms of the borrowing.
Yeah.
That could be your life insurance, permanent life insurance policies that
Yes.
allows you to borrow against the cash values. And then the third word comes in the exit plan. That is your death,
Yes.
right? So you need to make sure, yes, you purchased those properties, you built the net worth. Now, what is the exit plan for it? And that is where you have four different options. So first option is you need to have, let's just say someone built a $50 million worth of their net worth.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly, when everything has to be transferred to their next generation, let's take 25% of that 50 million. That is roughly, if I'm not wrong, 17 million.
Okay.
Right? That is government's portion.
Wow.
So if you have $50 million in your net worth,
Yeah.
right, in your gain, 17.5 million is government's portion.
Welcome to Canada.
Welcome to Canada. there are only 4 ways to deal with it.
Yeah.
There are only 4 ways to deal with it. So the first one, you need to have that 17.5 million money in the bank.
Mm.
And I do not know a single person who would have that liquid cash in their bank.
Yeah.
Second option is there will be your sale of assets.
Mm.
So if someone owned 50 properties, easy calculation, if someone owned 50 properties, $1 million gain in each property, they would have to sell 17, 18 properties, and technically you're just donating that to the government.
Yes. Yes.
And you built that through your hard-earned money.
Yeah.
It pains. It gives you a lot of pain to give those 17, 18 properties to the government.
Yes.
How to do that? So if we do not want to do those sale of assets, third option comes in. Sometimes people think of family trust.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to go back to the example of that 40-year-old you mentioned, that people say, I want to get life insurance when I'm 40-year-old and stuff, right? Now, let's talk first about the family trust before we jump onto the last option. So in family trust, people think I can open up a family trust, I can put all the properties in, and it will be transferred tax-free to my next generation. It is yes, and it is a bigger no as well at the same time. Yes, you can transfer all the assets to your next generation tax-free, but in Canada, there is something called the 21-year rule. So your trust can hold your assets only for 21 years.
Got it.
After 21st year, your trust is supposed to show that there was a sale of assets in the books. Doesn't matter if it was actually sold or no. So whatever those 21-year portion was for taxes, trust is supposed to pay that. So if I opened up a trust, I passed away, my kids have to deal with all that taxes, even the properties, those gained value when I was alive. So in simple terms, I am transferring my tax liability onto my kids. And I definitely want to leave wills for them, not the bills for them.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is where the fourth option kicks in. That is some people buying life insurance.
Yeah.
Buying life insurance will make sense only for limited people.
Yeah.
The reason for that is life insurance depends on your age and your health. So if you're too old and if your health is too compromised, you may not even get the fourth option of life insurance.
That's right.
So life insurance will only make sense when someone is young and healthy. So these are the only 4 options on how your exit plan would look like for all your net worth.
Yeah.
Yes, life insurance would make sense for a young person like your son, right? But again, we need to see that we are not delaying too much in that, because as health is compromised, your life insurance cost increases, which we never want to have more insurance cost. We want to make sure we design it in a way where your insurance cost is as low as possible and your investment portion is as high as possible. Because these are most customizable products.
Yeah.
And I see many times people have these products, but when we do a review for them, it's not designed properly.
Yeah.
So it just comes exactly like people buying some bad deals in real estate as well sometimes, right? People buying some deals in real estate where they're not 100% confident on what this product or what this property is going to give them after a few years.
Yes.
So that is where they need to have an expert properly educating them first and helping them make an informed decision.
Yes. Yeah.
That is where, I will be more than happy to consult.
And it's amazing. Like the consultation with me or you doesn't cost them nothing. It's 1 hour of conversation, 1.5 hour, whatever it takes. But they walk away with so much knowledge. And of course, we want them to use our services, because it's not just talking that hour, but once they become clients, we are basically protecting them using our experiences to ensure that every year they're doing well, right? I've had people who did this consultation with me, walked away with another realtor, bought something, and now they have problems. So they're coming back to me, asking me to solve this problem, which is not my problem now, right? But I tell people, look, once you consult with us, stick around with us, because it's about relationship. You're building a relationship with professionals where we will be using our knowledge to help you and your family gain, right? And what better way to do this where we are using our, like mine 20 years of experience, yours 8 years of experience, to ensure they don't make mistakes that we have made in early years, right? And that they're in the right path, their kids are in the right path. And what better way to learn all this and exit in a way where you have residual income coming in every month. And imagine if you didn't have to work, right? And I'm at a place where I'm getting there in maybe 4 or 5 years, but it's exciting to just see everything flourish now. And I tell people, you know what? Through my experience, I've learned that real estate and any investment, it's not a quick money-making scheme. It's a long money-making process, right? And you got to think long. And yeah, and this is where strategies help. This is where consultations help. And sticking with us for long term, for 20 years, 30 years, will help you basically ensure that everything's going well, right?
That's very right, Ravi. And I see, if I talk about some mistakes that I made, right?
Yeah.
When I was young, we always go into the market or go online. And I still remember there was times when I bought things that were cheap.
Mm.
Many of the times I see people doing these mistakes with their money in their financial planning as well.
Yeah.
That could be getting into properties, that could be getting into any investments.
Mm-hmm.
They focus on the cost. They do
Yeah.
not focus on the value that they're getting.
Yes.
So any time where you see that you're saving some money in the short term, that is not going to give people a long-term pleasure.
Yes.
Right. So if someone is, let's say, dealing with me, or if someone is dealing with myself, or I believe yourself, our focus is not only to serve them today and leave them tomorrow.
Mm.
Our focus is to make sure we start with your end goal, so
Yeah.
that the decisions that you make today, you do not have to revise them every other day.
Yeah.
And you do not have to, the whole point is of making them confident in whatever decisions they make.
Yeah, yeah, and as they go along, every year when we do like a review for them, they see how they're progressing from now to 5 years, from 5 years to 10 years. When they see their portfolio, they'll know right away where this is going. Maybe within few days it won't show any difference, but in the long run it does. It's like working out. You don't see any difference within a day or two going gym and following a diet, but if you do it long run, it actually does change your health and the way you look, right? And same thing applies with finance. If you apply it long term, it's going to work, but you need the right people behind you with experience and somebody who knows what they're doing to guide you properly, right? One of the things I find is, oh, I have a friend or a family member who just started, so I want to help them.
Yes.
What would you say to that?
I do not want to comment on that, but it is one of the, I'm not saying that, every person is not inexperienced.
Mm.
Every new person is not inexperienced. It's not that. It's about, as long as you're confident dealing with them, do not, yes, give them business, but do not give them business because they are your friends and family. Anything that has to deal with your money, I always tell people, never make emotional decisions, always make logical decisions.
Mm.
Giving someone a business just because they are your friends and family, that's an emotional decision.
Yeah.
Yes, they are going to make money out of it by selling you something, but are you going to make money out of your money as well?
Yes.
If that is also a yes, sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
If that is not sure,
Yeah.
then we definitely need to have someone that is not our friend and family, but a professional.
Yeah, yeah. I think you can beat experience. And what I say to that is, do you know what? You're not here to do favors to your
Yes.
friends and family. You are hiring a professional, and you will interview your family. You will interview anyone, and if not me, somebody else. But you should interview few professionals
Yes.
and then hire a professional, because that's what you're doing, right? Because at the end of the day, if I can show you that I can get you a better value out of my service and gain you financially more than the other person, then this is a business decision. It's not a favor you're doing to a friend. This is simply business, right? And it's always good to not mix family and friends with finance, right? Because
True.
if something goes wrong, you fire them, you basically lost a relationship now.
Yes.
But you can always fire us, uh, which doesn't happen, but that's an option, right? So Karan, this was awesome. Like I think before even the podcast began, we had an awesome discussion, conversation, and I really enjoyed talking to you and learning from you. Um, Now, what if a family wanted to like book a consultation with you or sit down with you? Does it cost anything? How can they do this? What like how can they get a hold of you?
Great question. So Ravi, our whole goal is to making sure we educate every single person and
Yes.
help the community out there. So I would not be charging anyone who comes out of this podcast. Of course, we're not going to charge them
Yeah.
any consultation fees. And just to gain more knowledge, I do post a lot of stuff on my social media as well. And someone can find me on Instagram. My username is Karan Purba _official. So KaranPurba _official. That is my Instagram page. I do post content over there, provide awareness.
Mm,
And there is my calendar link in my bio as well.
yeah.
And on TikTok also you people can find me. And my email address is pkaranver@gmail.com. So anyone watching this, they can feel free to email me as well, and I would be more than happy to help them.
So would it be okay if I took your information, your Calendly link, and put it on our description on this YouTube video?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Perfect. Perfect.
And yeah, Ravi, so if I was to ask you the same question, so
Yeah.
if someone wants to connect with you to get
Yeah.
all this consultation and knowledge, so how they can get in contact
Well,
with you?
same thing. They can. It doesn't cost them anything. We do buyer consultation, investor consultation, and seller consultation, and they can find the link down below in the description. And same thing. It doesn't cost them anything, and we identify their needs, and then based on their needs, we recommend solutions, right? And that's all we can do. So they can book an appointment same way. Click on the calendar and do like a discovery call, or do a buyer consultation, seller consultation, or investor consultation, and then we can sit with them for an hour, 2 hours, doesn't matter, and kind of come up with a game plan. And the main thing for me is to ask them lots of questions to understand their needs first, and then use my knowledge and experience to see to make a plan for them, right? Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much for
awesome.
your time, Ravi. It was awesome.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
I
really
hope
good.
people get a lot of knowledge, and I hope people get a lot of education from this.
Yeah.
We are all here to help people out, and
Yes.
it was awesome, and definitely looking forward to do more.
And please do take advantage of Karan's knowledge and experience, and do add him on TikTok, Instagram, and just make sure it's officially him. And there's fake ones out there, but make sure you pick the official one, and take him up on this. Like, knowledge is power, and you can imagine how much money you are throwing away on taxes, interest, and things you could be doing to ensure that you retire sooner, or you pay off your mortgage faster, and you create wealth by applying all these financial tools that you have available to you. So take advantage of this. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to you joining us on our next podcast. Thank you.